ends for our acts. The sea can be deep for our diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Monday. I have anything else. Good morning, Amber. Good to see you. Happy Monday. A lot of people have today off. Good morning, Leisure. Good to see you, brother. Got your message this morning. Thank you for that. I like getting up and seeing positive messages. Another friend, they sent me other messages bitching about, so I'm like, yeah, I'm ignoring that right now. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right. This is a little early. I'm not sure how long this will be. We're back at Take 12 Radio today at 11 o'clock. So I got to do that too, but I was up a little bit early, so forget slip in the Daily Trudge. Yes, happy Columbus Day. Or Indigenous Day, however you say it. I don't know. All I know is today I will not be receiving any mail. That is the only difference. I don't care about holidays. I don't give a fuck. You know what I call Thanksgiving? Thursday. I call it Thursday. That's why I always mix up. That's why my dyslexia, when I think of November, I think Thursday. And in my brain, sometimes I call November Thursday. Shrooms are not going to get you closer to God. No. Yeah, so it's a new thing. You know, if you really want to get closer to God, I mean, it's just another. How many different ways we got to sell drugs? Right. Now psilocybin, which comes from shrooms, but it's not the trade, It's kind of like how you take CBD out of the THC or take the THC out and you're left with the CBD, which can actually be a healer of pain. All right. But the psilocybin, that tends to help with depression, PTSD, things like that. But it's not going to get you closer to God. In fact, that's probably going to kind of block the sunlight of the spirit. You're going to see some trippy things. I did shrooms. If people are like, you want shrooms or acid? I want shrooms. Fuck acid. Acid never worked on me. I tried like 5 times. It never worked. I don't know what you guys got out of it. I think I'm just I am immune to the acid, or I just never did it right. I'm probably sure it was the second thing. Okay. Let's remember that recovery is not big business. The government does not need to be involved. Okay. It doesn't. In fact, I'm working on getting the government out. I have some things coming up. It'll look a lot like other people's, but I do not accept government money. No, there are requirements there. There are consequences that I don't want. Right? Because you become kind of dependent on that. And that's what they want. No, recovery is to be self-supporting, not government supported, not non-alcoholic supported. All right. It is to be self-supported. This is part of the responsibility that we take on to become better people. These are stepping stones to higher places. Do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Yes, it's 10:09, but that's not what I'm talking about. What the hell is all that? I go to pull up my search, and this is not my search. Zach Yadagari. Who the fuck is that? I don't know who that is. Stimulus check. What do I get? Cameroon elections, Paul Baya. What is this crap? I didn't look up any of the SNAP benefits. Look at this. Look at the control, what they want you to see. This is my own search history. Give me some funny dad jokes. Jerks. Leisure says, the last thing I want involved in my recovery is the government. Unfortunately, they are in every single part, including the 12 steps. They're telling us that we cannot hold Alateen meetings without you going through a government program. Did you know that? Now, it's the kids. I understand the rest of it, but be careful about letting these recovery coaches and sober living people into your rooms. Okay. I keep going to these meetings and they're listed in OIAA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. And they're like, oh, we're an all recovery meeting if you want to talk about your overeating, your drugs, or the. No, that is an all recovery meeting, and you should not be listing your stuff on AA. That is what I would call switch and bait. I wouldn't. No, thank you. See, what is that? That's people out of control thinking that they are everything when we are not. This is very dangerous when we do this. We have tried these ways. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't allowed into open AA meetings, that we're not there to help or anything. But then let's call it what it is. Just be honest about it. It's all right. If it's an all recovery meeting, go list it somewhere else. Or make sure it's very clear, because it wasn't listed that way in OIAA. And we call that lying. That's the problem I have with it. It's dishonest. Okay. If you want to do that, great. Go for it. It's not going to last as long as you think it is. Okay. You might gain some traction, but it's not going to stick around. I already know that. All right. We did pop jokes before. It's the lying. And if you're starting the meeting by lying, then why am I going to listen to anything? Why am I going to listen to anything that you have to say when you lied about what type of meeting it was? Why do you feel the need to do that? What's the manipulation about, people? See, it's more than just, the combining of, it's the actions that create these things. And then when other people come along and support that action, it gets bigger and it will get worse. Both things can spread, goodness and evil. All right, let's get to the jokes. Dad jokes for adults we're doing today. I don't think dad jokes are they're supposed to be clean in my book, but let's do it anyway. We're ready for Dion's daily jokes. Once I was kidnapped by mimes. They did unspeakable things to me. Clean but adult, kinda. Tell these after dark when the kids are in bed. No one is safe. Okay, they might get kind of bad, but we're only gonna do a couple. Excuse me. Why is it so cheap to throw a party at a haunted house? Because the ghosts bring all the booze. You're like, where's this house at? Where's this house at? Where's this free booze? Boo. There you go. You got your free booze. Here's one from Dion. Right? Tickle Me Elmo. You remember Tickle Me Elmo, right? Well, yeah. Did you know that every single Tickle Me Elmo gets 2 testicles before they leave the factory? Yes, 2 testicles. All right. That was worse than the ones of these. What do you call bees that produce milk instead of honey? Boobies. Yay, boobies. All right. What did the full glass say to the empty glass? You look drunk. Those were actually pretty good today. Those were actually pretty good. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I am your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you are watching the live or the rewatch. You know, what if the things that once held us down were actually building us up? Right? There's a lot of things in this life that feel like they're holding you down when actually they are bringing you up. It is a perception. It depends on how we're looking at these things. Right? Okay, this is the process where failure becomes the stepping stones. Yesterday I was talking with a new guy, new sponsee, and one of the things that I always bring up, I always bring this up for the next 2 or 3 months. Everything that comes out of your mouth is wrong. And you're going to need to be okay with that. It's how we learn. So be wrong. Be wrong often, because it means that you are growing. It means that you are becoming a better person. These obstacles are actually stepping stones when you stay willing and teachable. You've got to stay willing and teachable. If you do not stay teachable, they won't be learning lessons. They'll just be things that they'll become problems, is what they will be. They will no longer be opportunities. Okay. We got to stop. The problem only becomes a problem when Dion has decided that it is a problem now. Otherwise, I should be looking for the solution to that, because it's an opportunity for me to demonstrate what I can do through God, through the steps, through the things that other people have taught me. And in the beginning, this is very much true. And about being wrong about everything. And it's going to be that way. You know, I don't know how the percentages are going to be, but you're going to be wrong often in your life. Okay. Now, while you're going through it, you're not going to be able to see the lesson. It's going to be hard to see the lesson. Usually the lesson comes after the solution, because the solution is part of the lesson. Okay. So what comes along? Opportunity. Then what do? We put some action into it. Maybe we talk to somebody else about it. We do something. We look for some guidance, right? All right. Then we actively search for a solution. This is usually better done with other people, other like-minded people with the same intentions as you. Okay? Then comes the solution. Then comes the answer, or the lesson. Then comes the lesson. Right? Happens to me often. It usually comes in the guise of this. Those people over there, something's going on, and I want to be a part of it, but I'm not allowed to be part of it, and I think I'm missing out on something. You're not. I promise you. And I was one of those kids where I didn't want to miss out on things. Of course, I was also the kid, if it was 9 o'clock and time to go to bed, I put myself to bed. I had no problem with it. Is it bedtime, Mom? I used to ask that. Is it bedtime? It is? Good. Good night. Goodbye. It wasn't so much that it was bedtime. It's that I was finally going to be alone. Honestly. It was, my brother and I shared a room. So if I went to bed early, I at least got a little bit of alone time before he came to bed. Right. So that is the process of how a problem comes along, and we turn it into a lesson, right? So, a good example of that would be, and about 5 years ago, I reported somebody for doing something wrong, and the whole industry, not the whole industry, but a lot of people in the industry got mad at me and blackballed me from the recovery industry, which, by the way, you can't do. right? And they started doing things, and I got jealous because I was no longer a part of, right? At the same time, like my therapist would ask, do you really want to be a part of that? You know what's going to happen. Because I knew what was going to happen next. That because this is what happened. We were able to start taking insurance as recovery coaches. I found somebody committing fraud with my own Medicaid as an employee, and I reported them. Bet your ass I did. Or I lose my licensure. Fuck that. I don't have a licensure. Doesn't matter. It's about respect. Yeah, it's called HIPAA. It's called ethics. All right. Well, they had their heyday. Then they started to pay the price. And that I definitely didn't want to be a part of. So that took a few years. It was a few years before that happened. Now I knew it was coming and I had to wait patiently. Okay. So that is an example. And now they're all broke and whining and trying to scrape money together because they were dependent upon those government grants. Yeah. It changed nothing for me. When POTUS took all the money, it changed nothing for me. See, for me, recovery is free and simple or very, very low cost. If if you're in this industry for the money, I'm going to ask you politely to get the fuck out. And that's as polite as I'm going to get about it. Right? I will be less polite next time. So what helps us do this? What helps us do this? Well, it's a higher power. It is our higher power. It is your higher power, right? Because a higher power can guide you, right? And it moves you closer to humility, faith, and strength. Isn't it nice to have those things? Some humility, some faith, some strength. Okay. I'll give an example of that too. I share my feelings a lot. Okay. I'm a male, share my feelings. And I don't care. I'm transparent about it. Why do I do this? Because I have a solution. I have a solution in my life. I have strength in my life. Okay. And that comes from my higher power. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of people that say things behind my back, but they never say anything to me. Nobody ever comments on it. They don't say anything. Okay. That is strength because they know if they come after me, well, I'm going to have a nice word with them. I'm going to ask questions like, why would you say that? They know this. All right. Now, it's kind of like this. When I was drinking, I hated being around my stepdad. I hated it. Not because he was a bad guy or anything, because he was a really good guy who could see straight through every single piece of my bullshit. See, my mom could see through your bullshit, but not my bullshit because I'm her son. I knew that. But my stepdad was not emotionally tied to me, so I did not have that power with him. So he could see right through me. Now I'm that person. Now I don't mind being around my stepdad. Now I love being around him because I'm doing the right thing. And he can see right through it. He sees what I'm doing. That is the difference. Leisure says if someone is in it for the money, they probably aren't listening to anything of substance like the Daily Trudge. Yeah, I would agree, Leisure. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. I got to tell you, I'm reading this off Chat GPT. Okay. Some of this is coming from Chat. I needed a little bit of help today and I didn't have anything. So I am taking some of this. But these are words that I use. So it works out. All right. I just wanted to be transparent, man. I wanted to be transparent, right? So each stone is a reminder. I didn't come this far to stop here. So every stone that you're, I'm kind of wobbly on this stone. I better get to the next stone. These are stepping stones, not sit and wait stones. Okay. And you don't want to sit on that step for too long. You need to keep moving forward. Okay. So each stepping stone is another opportunity for another solution, for another tool, for another good thing in life. I'm going to tell you something. This world is beautiful. Do not be distracted by all the bullshit going on. And there's a lot right now. I know there is in Colorado because everybody's running for governor. Everybody's running for governor. Everybody's, all of it's good. I have my voting stuff right here. Yes, I will be voting. You bet your butt I'll be voting. Gotta vote. Vote, please, in Colorado, please vote. Vote, vote, vote. It's your right. It's your duty. It's your duty. All right. I said duty. Keep climbing. Stay consistent. That is the best way for growth. Consistency, especially an alcoholic. Right? Now, remember, there's times when I've done the Daily Trudge. I'm like, oh man, I had to do this before the Daily Trudge, and it threw me off. It throws me off. I like doing Daily Trudge first. You guys get all my thoughts, all my feelings going on for the day. Well, when I go do other things have happened, and now that has kind of changed. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but because of that consistency, it tends to throw me off. That's why I love AA. I love the structure. I know that we're going, yesterday I went to a meeting, and they're like, okay, we're going to have a moment of silence. And I thought we were doing the strength prayer. And it's a moment of silence. And then the cats brought down some crashing things. So that's okay. My wife's here. She can take care of it. All right. Everything okay, babe?
I'm okay.
Okay. That's all I care about. We don't have a dead cat or something, do we? You don't think so? All right. I guess we'll find out. Fucking cats. Fucking meow. It reminds me of a George Carlin joke. You ready? This one's a little bit longer, and I haven't told it in a while. And he's talking about he had this cat, right? Now this cat's he's just a cool MFer, right? Cool cat, walk around. Hey, I'm a cool cat. I'm a cool cat, right? He's right. One day he has some company over, and his really cool cat decides that he's gonna go outside, but he just got done cleaning, right? So the sliding glass door was closed, but the cat did not know it. So he goes running towards you, bam, right in the sliding glass door. He turns around. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm cool. I'm cool. Walks behind the couch. Fucking meow. Fucking meow. Fucking meow. All right. So stay consistent. Don't avoid the hard stuff. Instead, quit determining the size of your problems. Good morning, Angel. Good to see you. Don't determine the size of your problems. Let God do that. Now, some problems may hurt more. Some may hurt less. Some may seem bigger. But the process is the same. Not everything is let go and let God. Now that I said that, I already know that Substack's going to make that one a clip because it always does. I'm going to tell it to do something else. Don't use that one. Substack. All right. Sometimes we have to face our problems. What do you think that courage is for? That's what that courage is for, to face our problems, right? So don't avoid the hard stuff, right? When things get messy, trust the process. Trust the process. Because you see that it works in other people. Don't tell me that you can't see God. You see it working in other people. All right. Just like electricity. You can't see electricity, but there it is. Lighting your lights, making your internet work, charging your phone, supplying you with your daily needs. Right? All right. All this did come from reading. Date of time. Let's do the reading. Then we'll wrap up because I gotta get ready. At 11 o'clock, we're doing our Take 12 radio with Monty Man. Monty. I don't know what it is. That comes from a cartoon. It's a Bugs Bunny. Monty. I don't know which one though. I know it was Bugs Bunny that I remember. All right. October 13th, reflection for the day. My progress in recovery depends in large measure on my attitude, and my attitude is up to me. Yes. Nobody else in this world gets to determine how you feel today but you. And that could be hard, huh? Yeah. So let's talk about those responsibilities real quick. What we're responsible for. We're responsible, number one, for our actions. Right? We're responsible for our emotions. And here's the one that saved me from a lifetime of depression and paranoia. I had to be responsible for my triggers. But other people are triggering me. Yeah, but they don't know that. They don't know that. All right. My grandson's 6. We just had his birthday. I don't remember the candles at 5 or 6. I'm horrible at that. Please don't say something mean to fuck, I don't care. All right. Every now and again, he has something in his hands, and he drops it on the floor and bam, and it triggers me. Now, did he do that on purpose? Am I to go upstairs and say, you must handle things better and did it? Or should I let him be a 5-year-old kid and handle my own stuff? See, I must take responsibility for my triggers. That's where true freedom is. That's where the true freedom is. It's the way I decide to look at things. Nobody can force an attitude on me. For me, a good attitude is a point of view unclouded by self-pity and resentments. It's a good place to start. Good view. A little bit of understanding that other people are going through things too. You know, that guy that cut you off with no blinker. Oh gosh, that was so rude. You know, when they got up this morning, they were like, there's a guy out there, his name's Dion, and I'm going to track him down and I'm going to cut him off without a blinker. Do you think that's what happened? Because that's kind of how we alcoholics tend to take it. I'm going to track them down. I go through this too. Or I'll see somebody cut somebody else off and want to get involved. Right? It's like I'm the driving police. Let it go. Let it go. That's why I try. Dion, none of your business. This one's none of your business, Dion. Pick your battles. Okay. Now it may seem small, but how many times do you get through traffic, get home, and you're just like, oh, I'm so afraid to get traffic. You're out of traffic and you're still bitching about the traffic. You're not even there right now. Why are you bitching about it? Don't you got better things to do than bitch about the traffic that you were just in for an hour and a half? And now you're going to bitch to your significant other for 30 more minutes about the traffic, wasting more time? Really? Hey, if that's what you want to do, it's your time. Right? Heather says, take responsibility for triggers. Wow, that hit. Yeah. Good. I'm glad it did, Heather. That's what this one's for. Angel says, I'm the police. Yeah. Should be taking some police classes. Right? Police academy. For me, a good attitude is a point. Okay, there will be stumbling blocks in my path without a doubt. But the program has taught me that stumbling blocks can be turned into stepping stones for growth. And this is where I got the title. Do I believe, as Tennyson put it, that men may rise on the stepping stones of their dead selves to higher things. There's a part in the big book, step 3, the promises. It says we were reborn. So the death of your old self, the selfish, manipulative, alcohol guzzling drunk, is going to be the stepping stones to higher things. And it's got to be done this way. It is part of the process. It's what you're going to grieve in the beginning of you don't know that you're grieving because there was no actual death, but the number one, the loss of your old friend, alcohol, gone, and then the death of your old self. Yes, you are going to have a little bit of depression. You're going to miss your old self here and there. It's okay. Your old self wasn't purely bad. We're not bad people trying to get better. We're sick people trying to be well. Today I pray, may God help me cultivate a healthy attitude toward myself, the program, and other people. God, keep me from losing my spiritual stabilizer, which keep me level in purpose and outlook. Let me ignore self-pity, discouragement, and my tendency to over-dramatize. What? I don't over-dramatize anything. I'm over-traumatizing it right now. What? Nuh-uh. Let no dead weight burden throw me out of balance. Today I'll remember I can't be discouraged with God on my side. All right. That's it for this one. I'm pretty sure I'll be back later on today. In fact, I know I will be. It's Monday and I usually take Mondays off, which means I don't really do much. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing yesterday, but I've had to do a lot the last couple weeks. So Sunday and Monday's usually my weekend. Usually. We'll see what happens. But even yesterday, I still did, I went to a meeting. I stayed consistent. I did Daily Trudge. Had a new guy I was working with, spent a half hour on the phone with him, getting him ready. Yeah. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.